Arizona executes Aaron Gunches for 2002. Murder of Ted Price. In the stark landscape of justice, a life is set to end. Aaron Gunches is scheduled to be executed in Arizona, a culmination of a crime committed over 2 decades ago. This execution reopens the debate on capital punishment, its morality, and its place in modern society. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Ted Price, a man remembered for his kindness, found himself caught in a tragic web. He traveled to Arizona to support his ex-wife, a gesture of compassion that ultimately led to his demise. His life was cut short in a brutal act of violence, leaving a void in the lives of those who loved him. Price's sister, Karen Price, remembers him as a loving brother. He enjoyed simple pleasures, like cheering on the Phoenix Suns and Arizona Diamondbacks. His passion for riding his motorcycle reflected his free spirit, now extinguished by a senseless act. The impact of Ted's murder reverberates through his family. Their grief is a constant reminder of the devastating consequences of violence. His memory serves as a somber testament to the value of human life, a value that was disregarded on that fateful day. The events leading to Ted Price's death are a chilling sequence of betrayal and violence. An argument, a misguided intervention, and a fatal decision converge to seal his fate. The details of the crime paint a grim picture of premeditation and callous disregard for human life. Price was initially struck by his ex-wife during a heated argument. Gunches then instructed 2 women to drive Price to a bus station. Instead, they drove him to the desert, where Gunches ended his life with a gunshot. Gunches' arrest came after a separate incident, a shootout with a state trooper. The bullet casings from that encounter matched those found at the scene of Price's murder. This crucial piece of evidence solidified his connection to the crime, leading to his eventual conviction. In 2007, Gunches pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and kidnapping. This admission of guilt marked a significant turning point in the case. It brought a measure of closure to the Price family, though the pain of their loss remains. The execution of Aaron Gunches is scheduled for Wednesday, March 19, 2025, at 10 a.m. The method of execution is lethal injection using pentobarbital. The location is the Arizona State Prison Complex in Florence, a place synonymous with finality. Gunches has waived multiple appeals since his conviction. His decision reflects a complex and perhaps resigned acceptance of his fate. His actions have expedited the process, bringing him closer to the ultimate consequence of his crime. Gunches stated that his death sentence was long overdue. This statement offers a glimpse into his mindset, a possible acknowledgement of the gravity of his actions. He declined to participate in a clemency hearing, further signaling his acceptance of the impending execution. He also waived his right to seek a reprieve, removing any potential avenues for delay. His choices have paved the way for the execution to proceed as scheduled. The legal machinery is now in motion, carrying out the sentence imposed by the court. The path to Gunches' execution has been marked by legal complexities and procedural hurdles. The initial scheduling and subsequent delays highlight the rigorous scrutiny applied to capital punishment cases. Every step is carefully examined to ensure due process is followed. The execution was initially scheduled for April 2023, but was delayed by Governor Katie Hobbs's review of execution procedures. This review underscored the state's commitment to ensuring humane and lawful execution practices. The process reflects a deep concern for ethical considerations. Hobbs dismissed the retired judge leading the review, adding another layer of complexity to the process. This decision raised questions about the impartiality and effectiveness of the review. It also highlighted the political sensitivities surrounding capital punishment. In 2022, Gunches asked the Arizona Supreme Court to issue an execution warrant against him. He later withdrew the request, a move that added to the unusual nature of this case. His actions have defied typical legal strategies, raising questions about his motivations. In late December, Gunches asked the state's highest court to skip legal formalities and schedule his execution as soon as possible. The court refused the request, but later set his execution date for Wednesday. This decision reflects the court's commitment to upholding legal standards, even in the face of unusual requests. The execution of Aaron Gunches occurs within a broader context of capital punishment in Arizona. The state's history with executions, including past controversies, shapes the current debate. The rarity of executions in recent years adds to the significance of this event. The last execution in Arizona occurred in November 2022. This gap underscores the challenges and complexities associated with carrying out capital punishment. The state has faced scrutiny and criticism regarding its execution practices. Arizona has 112 prisoners on death row. This number represents a significant population awaiting the ultimate sentence. The fate of these individuals remains uncertain, subject to legal challenges and evolving societal attitudes. 3 executions were carried out in 2022 after an 8-year hiatus. This resumption of executions followed a period of intense scrutiny and reform. The state has worked to address concerns about its execution protocols. The hiatus was due to criticism of a botched 2014 execution and difficulty obtaining drugs. These challenges highlight the practical and ethical dilemmas associated with capital punishment. The state has struggled to find a reliable and humane method of execution. The execution of Aaron Gunches is not an isolated event. It is part of a larger national trend, reflecting the ongoing debate about capital punishment in the United States. The timing of this execution, alongside others scheduled this week, underscores the continued use of the death penalty in certain states. Gunches' execution is one of 4 scheduled in the United States this week. This concentration of executions highlights the varying approaches to capital punishment across different states. The national landscape is marked by both support for and opposition to the death penalty. Louisiana executed a man on Tuesday. 2 more executions were scheduled in Florida and Oklahoma on Thursday. These events underscore the regional differences in attitudes toward capital punishment. The South and Midwest tend to be more supportive of the death penalty than other regions. Gunches will be the first person executed in a state with a Democrat serving as governor since Virginia did so in 2017. This fact highlights the political dimensions of capital punishment. The governor's stance on the death penalty can significantly impact its implementation. Despite the scheduled execution, objections have been raised regarding the use of pentobarbital in lethal injections. These concerns focus on the potential for inhumane suffering. The debate over the method of execution continues to fuel opposition to capital punishment. Lawyers argued pentobarbital can cause fluid in the lungs and drowning. The court rejected their request, upholding the state's chosen method of execution. This decision reflects the legal challenges inherent in opposing capital punishment. No last-minute reprieves are expected. The legal avenues for preventing the execution have largely been exhausted. The focus now shifts to the final moments of Aaron Gunches' life. The court ruled that the necessary requirements to carry out Gunches' execution had been met. This ruling affirms the legal basis for the execution to proceed. The court has determined that all due process requirements have been satisfied. Last week, Gunches gave up his right to seek a reprieve from the Arizona Clemency Board. This decision further solidified the likelihood of the execution proceeding as scheduled. His actions have removed any remaining obstacles to the implementation of the death penalty. The execution of Aaron Gunches is a somber reminder of the consequences of violence and the complexities of justice. It prompts us to reflect on the value of human life, the role of capital punishment, and the enduring quest for a more just and compassionate society. As we witness this event, let us not shy away from the difficult questions it raises. Engage in thoughtful discussions, research the facts, and advocate for policies that reflect your values. Your voice matters in shaping the future of justice.